McCall. He's an old-fashioned guy, really. He's very simple. You don't know what he knows and what he doesn't know. And this one's much more personal because the battle's with himself as well. It's not just with the bad guys.
9 seconds. That's what you have to decide your fate.
The kind of mind and skill set that Robert McCall has. It's not goofy, it's not some big action hero. It's a regular guy who uses what's available to him. He's the kind of guy you wish lived on your block or in your apartment building. I think he does not like at all people being taken advantage of, most especially people who are voiceless and don't have the protections that a lot of people do. And those are the people he helps.
I think people connect with McCall because he sees something that isn't right, and it might take him on a big journey, but the root cause of why he does what he does is providing justice to the everyday person.
He came there to do a particular thing and go. Now he's witnessing bad behavior from these bad guys that are threatening good people. So this is a much more personal story, more internal than external. That he has to make choices like Shane. Do you hang up the gun or do you do something about it? Do you accept the love that's being presented to you, or do you walk away and live a life of loneliness?
He has to look in the mirror. He has to look at his own heart. And I don't think he's necessarily happy about what he sees. But he hasn't had the opportunity to share it, not in an intimate way. He's vulnerable. He's beginning to open up, if you will.
Remember what I asked you?
Yeah, am I a good man or bad man? You asked me.
And you said you didn't know.
I don't know.
Only a good man would have said that.
We all have a past, and if we try to redeem ourselves, if we have the luck and the opportunity to be able to maybe make it right in some way, I think that this is something that we've seen also in the past films where he's always come face to face with people.
You can be anything you want to be.
Maybe in your world, Robert.
Change your world.
But why me?
Let's find out together.
I'm hoping that you're gonna change what you've done and you're gonna try to, redeem yourself in some way. And when Amina sees him, she knows that he's a good man at heart.
I would love to show you the real food of Altamonte. Would you come with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Robert McCall is at a place of wanting to settle down. He doesn't know when he gets to this town that he's going to settle down because he hadn't planned it that way. But once he's there, he starts to fall in love with the town, the people, the food, the atmosphere, the air, the sea, and he surprises himself.
And the people. I'm starting to believe from the bottom of my heart that this is where I'm supposed to be. So, whatever it is that you and your friends do, please do it somewhere else.
You warning me?
I'm preparing you.
I think this story is about good people that find themselves in bad situations because of bad people. And so we have to deliver the suffering of good people that struggle with situations that they just can't cope with. And so someone comes in to help them.
It's always personal because he's doing it for people you would know, like yourself. You fall in love with these characters, and whenever he goes after someone, it feels more personal.
Who are you? Seem like a man who understands violence.
I understand weakness. I understand pain. I understand death. I understand suffering. And because of these people, I'm starting to understand peace. You can't take that away from me.
He goes on a journey that obviously it becomes a bigger thing and uncovers a terrorist organization, but he is really doing it for this one guy to get his retirement fund back.
Greg Dyer, he's a bricklayer, 43 years. His union's pension fund got hacked. He lost everything he worked his entire life for.
Is this guy some friend of yours?
No.
I think people connect with that simple message of getting justice for the everyday person.
Why something like this for a stranger?
It's a good question.
And he never asks for credit. He does it because he has to do it. That's a guy that has a moral compass. Robert McCall becomes almost wish fulfillment, that we wish there were more of him, helping more of us.
What Robert McCall represents is something that each and every one of us dreams to have in a certain way, and that's something that hopefully everyone wants in their life.
I think that audiences at home, they feel very close to McCall, and they know that at times when things get very difficult and you need help and at times no one shows up, it's like he is a modern day hero.
Roberto, you've got this.
He's the common man. People relate to him. He doesn't fly around with capes or anything. He's a real character that people can relate to. And they seem to love him and how humble he is.
I like Kate, though.
I thought about getting you one on the third one, but for a mafia, I thought it'd be nice.
Yeah, that may not go well.
It's hard to describe that sort of thing.
Sei solo?
Sì.
Okay, va bene.
You get into it again and you just do the work.
We definitely have a shorthand, having worked together. He knows how I work, I know how he works, and you know, we're more efficient, I guess you'd say.
I think it's probably from the first day of training day, seen in the cafe, scared to death. My first day with Denzel and Ethan, I said, D, you want to come look at the monitor? Denzel said, oh man, you flying this plane.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Good luck. Got him and walked away.
The time to worry about flying is when you're on the ground. If you don't trust the pilot, don't go. I trust, needless to say, I trust the pilot.
Should I call an ambulance? I love getting to work with people who have worked together before, and you see the camaraderie between the two and the understanding and sort of unspoken ways of working with one another. So I've definitely observed that with Antoine and Denzel. But yeah, I love getting to work with people that really know one another well and know how each other work.
Antoine possesses that rare gift of being able to harness what's in his mind and put it out there. And then having a creative team that can take those pieces and put them in the sauce.
That is Antoine Fuqua, who designs, choreographs, and tells the story of action better than any, I think, filmmaker, director working these days.
Denzel knows he's in great hands. He knows the movie's going to look great. He knows it's going to be performed by all department heads up to a very high standard because Antoine demands that, and Denzel demands that.
But working with Denzel Washington, I mean, it's an absolute dream, and they're an incredible team, and they've known each other for so long. Antoine does have this quiet presence, and I just found myself sometimes in really loud and chaotic situations, and I was trying to get in the zone, and he would just come over and put, you know, like an earpiece and have me listen to some music, you know, just to kind of concentrate a little bit more.
Io mi chiamo Mina.
Roberto?
Molto piacere.
Denzel will throw monkey wrenches at you. You don't know what's going to happen.
Your man to my left finger on the trigger, but he's a foot too close, which renders your man to my right dead already. All of them have no idea. I have no idea what I'm gonna do from take to take, from moment to moment. I'm operating in a different way, and I feel sorry for his family.
And then you see him there on set, and you see this laser focus, this amazing discipline, this presence, this power that he has.
I'm always lucky and blessed to be behind the camera to see it, but it's not something you can predict. There's times I'll go to Denzel and give him a note about something he did in the last scene. He doesn't remember that. He literally would say, what did I do? What did I say? Because he's just in that moment. And so it's like an athlete. If Michael Jordan's playing against the Celtics, there's one game. If he's playing against the Lakers, there's another game. Like each situation Denzel's in, He's so much in the moment as that character that there's times I'm discovering what he's going to do.
That's magic, and that's why we go to the movies. That's the fun of watching him kind of become the character. And there are a number of scenes where you see Denzel. These are things that he has practiced and he has rehearsed and he has choreographed. He wants to add some stuff.
He'll do a couple takes to give the director what they need and what the movie needs. And once he does those 2 takes, he'll start playing. He'll go off book. He'll say something that the other actor has to think on their feet, and then the fireworks start.
I tell other actors, I try to explain to them that you got to be in the moment with them. Your instinct has to be heightened. You have to really listen.
Do you understand? That's the question.
The piazza, the scene when Vincent comes with all of his men, it reminded me a bit of the scene I did in Training Day where you just don't know where it comes from.
Because you can take anything you want, take me. Here I am.
He'll start doing something. He'll hear something, we'll talk about it, and then I start to see this sort of thing bubbling. And then when I set up the shots and start doing it, it'll start to come out.
It's your choice.
He sort of created this almost spiritual moment with him and the people. And it came from Amina. She starts to pray because she thinks Vince is about to kill him. And he starts to do this thing.
Grazie Gesù Cristo. Grazie Gesù Cristo.
And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, King Kong ain't got shit on me.
And you feed off of that. You know, you come on a set like this with empty pockets because you're gonna steal.
I'll come back.
I'll be waiting for you. Hurry up.
And if you want to steal, you want to steal from the best. It's just like, you know, a huge feeling of joy and gratitude for being around such artists and men, and just a huge blessing.
You'll be dealing with the locals now.
Point is?
They have their own agendas. What they say is not always what they mean.
Aren't you just full of tips?
What I've got to really observe with Antoine and Denzel working together is a shorthand. I think, you know, when you're a director and a movie star, and the first time you work together and you win the Academy Award, that kind of automatically acts as cement with a relationship.
There was never a question about his talent, his experience. You know, we're brothers. I trust him completely. He trusts me. I'm excited about our future together, you know. And I'm excited for him, because the deeper he goes, the higher he'll go.
You're looking in the wrong place.
McCall?
It's not terrorists. It's the Gomorrah. Be careful.
Let me call you back in a minute.
This Equalizer is much more personal. In the other Equalizers, I kind of preempted the violence. In this case, it's happening, and then sometimes when you get there, some of it's already happened. So you get to sit and see the violence happen when it's necessary.
Just more violent, more bloody. McCall enjoys it, and that's why he has to pay.
In terms of the kills, when you are setting out to thrill an audience, it's not about being bigger or louder. It's just about doing something a little smarter.
Antoine had mentioned Liang Yang as a stunt coordinator for the movie, who primarily had fight coordinator credits before. Very intelligent, thoughtful, and creative.
Liang is a talented stunt coordinator. He brings a lot of flair and a lot of care to it, a lot of passion.
I got a text message from Antoine, and it said one sentence, let's talk about EQ3. So I was very excited about that. McCall's style, less waste movement, more direct. If he can take it down a person in one move, he will not waste 2 moves.
The Equalizer vision was always how a guy like McCall experiences violence and how he gets ahead of it. The Equalizer vision in this one, because it's personal, it's happening after the fact, as he thinks about the violence. So the audience doesn't know where it's going to come from. You see guys in the room, you're not sure how it's going to go down.
You do see the eyes, but the flashback is going to be used more as hits. It's for McCall to think about what he's done.
It's really the collaboration with where Antoine was at, what he had in mind, the way he wanted to do it. And then I have a great stunt double. Clay is another master. The spirit that he brings to the work is infectious, and I'm happy that he chooses to continue to work with me and make me look good.
Denzel constantly surprises me because the environment changes. It's like an athlete. Each situation Denzel's in, he's so much in the situation, in the moment as that character, that there's times I'm discovering what he's going to do constantly.
Take me. Just don't do it here.
You can tell when he starts to move, he knows how to control his body. Like first the action sequence, and before he get injured, we already introduced that style because he done this for so many years. Antoine want to see McCall punish them more brutally and fast. The second action sequence in the alleyway, how he take down McCall's guns, weapons from the bad guys.
The violence in Equalizer 1, 2, and now 3 is something that Antoine and our writer Richard and Denzel and myself and my partner Jason are all very, very aware of. Robert McCall kicks ass. And throughout Equalizer 3, you do see a little bit of a different Robert McCall because the town has become the people that he loves. So he's a little less apologetic, let me put it that way.
I will create the whole sequence, the structure first, and then team come together to chip in the idea to fill in all the movements. Wonderful new style to me and a bit challenge.
We kept the concept that was initially engaged in emancipation of a darkness. So we've been shooting in a manner in which we reduce the color, yet leave the color shorter, darker, more violent lighting. The last act is a violent act. It's firelight. There's no light. It's just firelight on faces.
We tried to design this sequence, the third act sequence. McCall coming in as a ghost. So we tried to create the action like McCall coming in more like a shadow ninja. Someone come into the building and take down Vincent Mann one by one, and with all the other people knowing. So obviously Bob is amazing, the DOP, one of the best in the world. When I presented the idea to Antoine always talk with Bob together and how to achieve it. A lot of input for the action from Bob's made the action look even better.
Bob Richardson is just one of our great cinematographers. It's like having your group of musicians and you just make music together, and you know.
We have a meeting with a different department, and everybody collaborate to try to achieve as real as possible.
We've developed a language that we will use going forward. I'm really impressed with the simplicity and sophistication. And I know Antoine appreciates it. And in some small escapist way, we try to give a glimpse of the possibility of redemption and salvation.
You know, I could turn and face you straight on if you want to get a better photograph.
I would have done anything to be a part of this. Making Man on Fire almost 20 years ago was such a seminal moment in my career and in my life, and so getting to work with Denzel again is just a dream come true. You don't look like you sound.
You do.
I remember working with him like it was yesterday. It has been almost 20 years and I was quite young, but that's not an experience that one forgets.
She and my daughter went to school together. You know, they were both at NYU, so I stayed in touch vicariously, if that's the right way of saying it. And she's obviously a great talent. Because she was bringing it. She knows how to hit the ball back over the net.
You kill him?
I look like a guy who kills people.
I'm warming to the possibility.
Touchette.
Like it or not, you're a person of interest.
I'm an interesting person.
It was very interesting working with him again the second time. My body felt the same feeling that I remember feeling all of those years ago, which is excitement and a little bit of nerves and wanting to be as prepared as possible.
When Dakota Fanning and Denzel came together for the first couple scenes that we were shooting, you could feel the energy there because of their history.
He definitely is an actor that keeps you on your toes constantly, and you are forced to be very present. He's known to add a different line in there or do something that's not in the script, so I was already prepared for that this time around.
When Denzel did go off book, Dakota is so accomplished that she'll toss it back and they have this witty repartee going. It's some of the most fun scenes in the movie.
I'm just getting started.
Me too.
McCall.
Ah, very good. 2 C's, 2 L's.
You think I'm new to this?
Desk job, 2 years, probably your first field tour.
Why me? I think that's kind of her story, is to put all the pieces together. Collins. Emma gets this mysterious phone call. It's not just a phone call to give someone information, it's to give her information specifically. Who is this?
Concerned citizen.
So I think not only is she trying to solve the mystery of what has actually happened, she's also trying to solve this mystery of why she's been the person chosen to be the one to solve it. Yeah, I have a potential op situation. I think McCall and Emma have a relationship of constantly challenging and almost one-upping the other one with intel and information.
You'll be dealing with the locals now.
Point is?
They have their own agendas. What they say is not always what they mean.
Aren't you just full of tips? I loved our characters getting to have that sort of challenging relationship with one another. There's definitely no one better to go up against than Denzel.
So how'd the search go?
Apparently you're a ghost.
Boo.
Mr. 2 C's and 2 L's.
Dakota's character, Emma, certainly triggers a part of McCall that's been missing. At first, it's just he's helping her maybe get a leg up in the CIA, but then he meets her, he sees her, and reminds him of what's been missing in his life.
Finding that out at the end that she is Susan and Brian Plummer's daughter, I think it explains so much and provides those kind of answers to why she felt like there was something about him that she already knew, but she doesn't know who he is, and she doesn't know how he knows who she is. So it's definitely, I think, affected the way I've thought about Emma and the relationship between Emma and McCall and this sort of connection that she feels towards him. I don't understand.
You will.
My favorite moment for sure has been the scenes I've had with Denzel and getting to work with him. I feel such a connection to him because he's known me for so long, and I've just loved the moments of getting to talk in between and catch up and be in Italy. It's most people's dream to get to work with him once, so to get to work with him twice at different stages in my life is a real treat.
He passes the baton, so maybe Dakota's the next equalizer. Maybe she takes over and only time will tell.
When I read Richard's script about Italy, I thought it's the perfect environment for McCall. Denzel loves Italy. He's been coming here for 30-some years, I think, since his kids were little. But also, it's a romantic place. It's a beautiful place. And it can be a dangerous place as well. So it made sense for McCall to find himself here and find a home here in Italy.
Italy's a character in our film. And the language and the food and the love that people have. I love the Italian people, and I love how they love each other. And I learned a lot being here. I mean, I've come here for 31 years on vacation, and I really began to understand a little bit the culture, the history. So it's a great place to shoot our film. fact, I was on a boat on vacation, and we took the boat down to Atrani to see it from the sea. And you look above the town, and there's a big cross above the town. And there's a whole history with what happened in Atrani and the floods there. And when I was looking up at that cross, I was like, how are we getting up there? Or, how y'all getting up there? But that's all a part of the journey. This film was a physical challenge.
In one of the scenes that we film in Atrani, it takes place at a church at the top of hundreds and hundreds of stairs. And I only had to carry myself, and it was almost too much. So it's a brutal trek up to the top, and I commend the crew and every single person that had to carry heavy equipment and cameras and lights and things up those steps and set everything up to actually make a movie.
This is my first big Hollywood film, and I think what was so exciting for me is to be able to shoot in my region, coming from Naples, so being in the Campania region, and the Amalfi Coast is absolutely gorgeous, and it made it all the more special for me also to hear the Neapolitan dialect and understand what they were saying and being able to kind of throw it back at them, because they, looking at me, they're thinking, oh, she does not speak Neapolitan, and I do, which is so much fun. I was able to speak to the older women that were there, the old ladies and old men that were there, and they know it so well, and they were also really used to American sets coming through, because the last couple of years there have been other productions taking place there.
The way Atrani sits in the Amalfi Coast, it is hidden, and you can drive through it and not realize you're there. There's a road that goes across, but the town is sort of built into a ford or a canyon in the mountains, and it's beautifully stacked, multiple levels of stairs. But we have a whole location team that worked for months and months to get to know people and work through with the city council and the shop owners and the residents to explain what we had in mind to do.
I think it's like a theater. The piazza and the streets coming to the piazza, it's very small and very ups and downs, lot of stairs, and it kept something not modern. It's like it has always been,
In Italy, in Amalfi Coast, we have these amazing landscapes. The weather is great. The pictures you can take are very dreamy in a certain way, and I know that this is something that the movie is also about.
Atrani does have its old world look, and I think that's what makes it really, really special. I think it brings a wonderful element to this series. I mean, this third chapter is quite different from the first two, so that's something that I think audiences are going to be really surprised about.
It's just a beautiful little town of 800 people, and I've learned a lot being in Italy, and I think the audiences will appreciate the uniqueness of these villages that we shoot in.